Brushing, remember, hold your bottle while you're wiping the excess off. Now we're going to get almost all the paint off of this brush by wiping it off on a wash rag. I don't suggest using napkins and paper towels because it has lint, and all the little pieces of lint will be stuck on here and then go to your figure. I noticed that with some of these wash rags too when they're brand new. You need to use an older wash rag that's been washed a few times. Alright, so here's the fun part. All we're going to do is highlight the edges, really. So real fast motion and start going over all this. I'm flicking this, doing this number here. When I do straight lines, I tend to hold my hand really straight and move at the wrist like this. So, but this right here is just, we're simply highlighting these edges. Check it out. See how easy that is? Now, at first glance, you guys might think I get in here and really hand paint all that very carefully. No. This is the easiest part of it. Now you can go overboard or not enough. If you didn't wipe enough of this off, you're going to make a mess. And it's going to smear a whole lot of silver around. So start off with your brush very dry. And if you're not happy with it, if it's not silver enough for you, dip it again, wipe it back off. Maybe not as much that time. And go ahead and, keep going until you like it. So there's your dry brushing. See how easy that was? It only took a few seconds. Well, if you don't count all the cleaning and base coats and all that. So now after this, I will, instead of doing my detail painting now, I'll get all the dry brushing done, everything I can done up to the point where it needs a clear coat. And I will I'll go over that in a future video too. I'll even show you techniques for how I spray the paints. I have airbrushes too. I could airbrush these things. Let me back up for some of you model car guys. I first started painting these and brought in my skills from model cars. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to one up all these guys and I'm going to use real car paint. I'm going to use urethane, base coat, clear coat. That's nice and you get a very nice look and finish, but the bad thing and downside of that is your base coat, clear coat has hardener catalyst in it, which makes a hard shell of paint over the figure. Now that's cool for a model because models don't get handled that much. But we got a figure here that has moving parts and parts may bump up and scrape against each other. So the times I tried using urethane, like House of Color, really nice paint on some of these, you have a problem with the edges wanting to chip. Literally chip like a paint job on a car because it's like an eggshell hardened paint over it. The lacquer stays very nice and I don't want to say soft, but yeah, that's all I can really express. It stays somewhat soft, so no eggshell type coating that's going to chip. Worst case, you may have an indentation or a rub spot where two pieces have been rubbing together. And there's my 2 cents on that. So I've tried a lot of different paints, and these right now are my favorites for durability, look, color, everything, all the above. And if you have a problem getting Model Masters, your other choice would be Tamiya acrylics. I have not personally used them, but I can only imagine they're about the same as these Model Master acrylics. So now the enamel or lacquer, that's going to have to be cleaned up with lacquer thinner. You can't clean that up with water. So if you're younger and your parents are getting you some paints and stuff to do this, you may have a problem when it comes to that because the lacquer thinners and stuff are real strong and probably not real good for kids to handle. So that being said, I can also, as we progress into this video series, I'll show some more techniques where you don't have to use the lacquer paint. You can paint the whole figure with acrylic if you like. Now you're going to sacrifice having the gloss and metallic paints and stuff like that, but there's still some ways around it. We have acrylic clears and things. So stay tuned in the future for all that, and I'm going to share some more here. I think we still have some more time. I don't know if we went over to another clip yet. Let's see. So let's go back to this. Say I've got it all dry brushed, ready to put my first coat of clear. Now when I spray this, I will show it more in depth, but let's just pretend right now. So when I spray this, I'm going to do real quick light coats over it. Not inside either, of course. I take this stuff out to my shed. The doors open, fan blowing out the doors, not at the pieces. So after you get a nice light coat, you don't want to put a heavy coat of clear on this for the first coat, because it wants to make the silver on the edges start to run off. Not really run off, but just kind of disappear on the edges. So put a real light coat just to hold everything in place, and once that's nice and dry, you can put a slightly heavier coat if you like. Or you can come on over and start doing the detail. And when I say detail, that's say I want to paint the white background for a license plate, put copper and gold accents and other colors, all the little detail. And that's where you're really going to have to invest in getting some really nice and small brushes. Your brushes are going to be everything. This one's kind of frayed and had it. I'm about due for some new brushes. This is a brush I really liked, and it broke, so I cramped it on to the end of another brush. That is my smallest brush I have. So I can really do detail painting with this one. Alright, after we get all the detail done, then we can go clear it again, and the piece will be pretty much done like we have here. This one's not done though, so I'm going to go over something else with you here. Alright, say for instance, we did the spray, we did the dry brushing, clear coat, did a little detail, and we noticed that there's some more yellow accents we needed to do. Right. If you can see the difference in those two. See how one is the metallic yellow over here, and that one's just a base yellow? What I actually did there was I painted this piece white first. Actually a gray and white, because white doesn't coat very well. So I did a gunship gray, and then a white over it, and then a yellow. Reason being, you can't paint yellow over a black or dark color. It just will not show up yellow. It'll show up very dark yellow. So the white background gave that a nice background to put the yellow on, so it pops and shows the real color. Now for the metallic, I just took this and sprayed a little bit in the cap where there's a little pool of paint in it, and I simply brushed it on. Yes, you gotta be careful with it though. You gotta do it real fast. So when you brush it on, it's a real quick motion. It's like boom, put a layer over it, put a layer over it. And I learned that technique from trying to paint my wife's toenails. Years back when I first got with her and I first started painting these, she was about to paint her toenails one night. I said, hey, I bet you I could paint your toenails really good from doing all this model stuff. Ha! I made a mess. Glopped up. I kept going over it and over it and over it. I was not used to that type of paint. So this is about the same, it seemed to me. So I learned a nice technique. You just lay it down real quick, go over it, and boom, it's on there. It's a hard one on this because you got to be careful not to get off the edges. And if you do, no big deal. We can come back over with some black. We can take black and clean up the edge where you got out. And I can take a smaller brush and dry brush right back over that area. Clean it back up. So don't be too fearful to get out of the lines, because you can come back and clean it up back and forth with the colors. I've got a mess right here that I've got to clean up. Let's see if we can see that. It's right at the bottom here, this little strip of yellow. I got some black onto it, so I'm going to end up pretty much sanding that off and doing a quick coat of yellow spray paint with a brush back over that, and hope it ends up okay. Should be alright. So I still have to put the metallic yellow here. I did the gray, white, and then yellow base coats. Now I got to put the metallic yellow over that, so it's a matching color. And then I'll clear coat this whole piece together. I might bend the, that's another thing. When you're doing the base coats, the black solid, you want to get in all the nooks and crannies with everything bent up one way. Let it dry really good. Don't get ahead of yourself and rush. Then fold everything back out and get in all the other nooks and crannies every other way you can get. And tell you what, we're probably out of time, so build up your questions and let me know your thoughts on how I can help better. Give me something to go by. It'd be a lot easier if I had somebody in front of me I was actually trying to teach, because then I could answer the questions. Alright, so build them up, guys, and let me know your thoughts, and I will do my best to share my knowledge here. I'm anxious to get some of you guys motivated in painting these. I know it's maybe intimidating and looks like something you can't do or whatever, but if you want to do it bad enough, I know you can. So more power to you. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. Peace.